Best of r/entitled parents episode 167. Subscribe for Reddit videos daily. I was video calling my friend just now and he told me this story about how he encountered Karens at a Starbucks. Everything will be told by his point of view. The story. I wanted to go out to buy some food for me and my family for fasting. I'm Muslim and half Arabic. While I was at the supermarket, I was getting thirsty, so I bought the groceries and went to a Starbucks a few blocks away. This was during quarantine, so not too many people were at Starbucks, so I waited in line about to order and suddenly not one, not two but three soccer Karen with their brats came in. Cast. Me. M1, 2, 3, Ek1, 2, 3, E employee, M manager, Po police officer. This is where the fun begins. Not even 3 seconds later the M's shove me aside and cut in front of me in line. Me excuse me, M's ignoring me. Me excuse me, M1 scoffs. Me hello, excuse me, M3 what do you want? Me you cut in front of me in line. M2 you weren't standing in line, you were at the back over there, where you should have been. Me what? M1 giggles. Yeah, you guys are used to this treatment after all, right? M3 plus, you won't be able to afford this. Just go back to your hell of a country and shove some sand in your mouth. I might be Arabic but I was born in America and raised in America. I've only went to Saudi Arabia once and that is for my Umrah to Mecca. Search up Umrah to Mecca. Me excuse me, I might look Arabic to you but I'm raised in America. M1 keep telling yourself that. Ek1, 2, 3, smirking, making fun of me. I then walk in front of them and cut them in line and the M's gaps at me. M3 how dare you, we were here first. Before I could say anything the manager came. M what's going on here? M1 this terrorist is cutting us in line after we cut him in line. The M's literally told the M they cut me in line first. How stupid can you be? M2 he also sexually assaulted us and threatened us and our kids. M's kept screaming profanities until Po came. M3 threw herself into the Po arm. M3 thank goodness you're here, this terrorist sexually assaulted us and the manager is not doing anything. Po ignoring the M's and went to the counter. Po do you have the footage? E, yes all in perfect 1080p. The Po then went to the back room then came out. Po all three of you are under arrest. M's what? Then another patrol car came and took the M's into custody with the M's screaming that she going to sue me, the manager, the police officer, a random customer and a little girl and her mom. I got a drink on the house, got home, told my family and video called my friend. End of story. Edit. After talking to my friend again and many of you were questioning why the Karens are arrested. My friend said it's because disturbing the peace, assault on a minor, they slapped my 16Y/0 friend, assaulting an officer, they punched, slapped and kicked the Po. Also thank you to everyone for correcting me using Arabic. Thank you. Next. Sorry this is so long, but I hope those of you who read it will enjoy it. Background. This happened about 5 years ago. My fiancé and I have been together 7 years this month. We're hoping to get married this year but might postpone due to the circumstances. We were reminiscing some old stories yesterday when this one came up, and she suggested I share it. She was my girlfriend at the time and at the time I was fully aware that her mom was a few fries short of a happy meal, but this was the pinnacle of her behavior. If you guys enjoy this story, I actually have a few more I shall share if you like. Sorry for the length, but I hope you guys enjoy it. For your information, there is a happy ending. Cast. EM. Entitled Mom, my future mother-in-law. Girlfriend, Ali. PO. Police officer. OP. Obviously. Story. Ali and I weren't living together at the time. She just stayed over from time to time when she could. I took her home after she had been staying with me a couple days and was heading to work. But shortly after, just before getting to work, I get a phone call from her and I can tell she is in tears. Apparently when she got inside, EM immediately blew up on her about being gone for so long, even though it was only 2 days, and she told EM she was going to be gone and kept in contact with her while she was gone. But Ellie just sorta brushed it off and went to her room. EM's house was pretty much your stereotypical crazy cat lady house. House badly decaying, cats all over the place, going to the bathroom in random places and whatnot. And when Ellie gets to her room, she realizes while she was gone, The cat's pissed and shit all over a pile of her clean clothes. But whatever, Ellie decided to just bag them up and she would wash them next time she came to my place. Her mom didn't have a functioning washer at the time. And apparently, that really set EM off. EM apparently thought Ellie was bagging her clothes because she was planning to go back to my place that night, stay another few days. So she stomped into her room, grabbed the bag, ripped it open, and flung the clothes all over the room along with the cat shit and piss while screaming at Ellie that she's not going anywhere. That's when Ellie ran outside and called me. She was so upset and didn't know what to do. Her mom had been doing crazy stuff to Ellie since I'd been with her, but up until I just helped her however I could while not getting involved and not saying a word to her mom. I told her to go ahead and get the things she needs, and I'll take her to my place. She said she would love that. I told my work I was gonna be late due to an emergency, and turned around to go pick her up. When I pulled back up to the house, Ellie was in the driveway crying. I went and hugged her, told her it was gonna be okay and that she could stay with me as long as she wanted. So she went back inside to get her things. As I was standing outside waiting, I heard the door open again and went to help Ellie with her things. Oh, it's her mom. EM comes stomping out with her hair crazy and frizzled, and an old nightgown. She beelines for me and gets right in my face. EM, with an extremely thick high-pitched southern accent, my daughter said I need to come out her and ask what you think of me. I knew that was a blatant lie as Ellie would never instigate this. You got something to say? Huh, you think I'm trash don't you huh? That's what you think isn't it? Again, up until now, I'd completely kept my mouth shut, and was trying to maintain that. But this woman was up in my face, freaking out, and was tormenting the woman I loved, so I finally looked at her and broke my silence. OP, why do you treat her like this? EM, gasp what do you mean? That's my daughter and I worship the ground she walks on. OP, oh really? So calling her a slut, bitch, cunt, and whore is worship? Yes, I've heard her say this with my own ears. EM, gasp I would never say anything like that. OP, getting rather irate, bullshit. I've heard you say it. EM, explosion you get your fucking ass off my property. Okay, I almost never find myself in situations like this, so I'm not used to it. I say that because after she said this, I pretty much saw red. I'm not proud of it, but I just started shouting every curse word in the book I could possibly think of at the top of my lungs while she went back in the house. But thankfully, that only lasted a few seconds and I immediately calmed down. So finally Ellie comes back out with her stuff. We put it in the car and I assume it's over. But Ellie turns to me and says, Ellie, I'm sorry but we can't leave you yet. OP, why not? Ellie, Simon called the cops. I sorta had a feeling that would happen. No big deal. So we just sat and waited for the cop to arrive. After about 10 minutes or so, a cop car pulls up. Right when he does, EM comes out of the house. And oh my god. Yes, she was doing exactly what you think. She instantly puts on the fragile brittle old lady act. Hunched over, walking slowly, the whole gig. And of course, when PO asks her what happened, she has to pitch her entire medical chart to the guy. Ellie will tell you this woman has been terminally ill for 12 years lol. So when she finally gets done trying to milk this poor guy for sympathy, she tells her version of what happened. EM, sir, he came onto my property and verbally attacked me. He's awful to me sir and I've never even done anything to him. He's turned my daughter against me and is trying to convince her to leave. At first, he seemed somewhat sympathetic to her, until he turns to Ellie. PO, Mom, this is your boyfriend? Ellie, yes sir. PO, okay, and how old are you? Ellie, sir, I'm 23. This was my favorite part because the officer looked up from his notepad with a look of wait, what? Obviously he was thinking Ellie was a minor or something based off of how Ian was acting, but quickly realized just what he was dealing with. Eventually he turns to me. PO, okay sir, please give me your version of what happened. I did so. Funny side note, at one point PO looks up at me and says, PO, you look really familiar. Do I know you? It actually turned out the PO and I had gone to high school together. Once we recognized each other, we laughed and shook hands, and very briefly, this was hilarious because out of the corner of my eye, I see EM has a big scowl on her face as she sees me getting friendly with PO. But anyway, PO puts his notepad away and turns to me. Just for your information, he says the following with this heavy tone of, I know that you are fully aware of this and don't believe you are in the wrong at all, but I have to say this as a formality. PO, well OP, she doesn't want you on the property, so be aware that if you come back here you technically can be charged with trespassing. Do you understand this as I've explained it? OP, absolutely sir. EM, but sir, I want to press charges. PO, he didn't do anything illegal mom. EM, but he verbally assaulted me. PO, I understand that, and while that was ill-advised, he slightly turns to me and gives me a small gesture with his hand, and I nod in agreement. It's not something I could arrest him for. He agrees he will not come back on your property without your direct permission. EM, ugh. Okay fine whatever. Ellie, come back inside. Ellie, what? No. EM, you heard PO. OP is leaving and you're staying here. PO, whoa, mom, I didn't say that at all. EM, but, BU. PO, your daughter is not a child mom, she is a full-grown adult. She has every right to go wherever she wants. EM, I'm her mother. She lives under my roof. I told her she needs to stay here, so she needs to stay. PO, no mom, that's not how it works. If she wants to go stay with her boyfriend, there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop her. EM starts the fake crocodile tears and stomps in the house in defeat. Ellie and I thanked the officer, got in the car and left. We've been living together ever since. Happy ending. Believe it or not, EM isn't really much of an EM anymore. Over the years since that day, EM has actually decided to make an effort to try and improve herself. I guess she realized that if she didn't make changes, she would lose her relationship with Ellie. So EM started taking advantage of her medical coverage and went to see her psychiatrist and got medicine for mental illness she actually had, as opposed to the one she would make up. Since then, well, she has actually gotten way better. She takes her medicine regularly, and has a boyfriend that is an extremely kind man and treats Ellie as though she were his own daughter. So basically, EM isn't really an EM anymore. We actually get along very well and we see them frequently, and we help each other out whenever we can. We actually look back on the early years when she was in fact an EM and laugh. So not only is everybody getting along well, we can actually share the cringe stories and happily laugh about them. If you guys would like to hear some more, let me know. Edit. Oh my god. Thank all of you guys so much for your upvotes, awards, kind wishes and positive support. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this so much. I am absolutely blown away by your responses. And so is Ellie. We greatly appreciate it all. A lot of you have said you would like to hear more, so either tonight or tomorrow I'll post another story that we call the jellyfish story, and I'll put Ellie's mom part 2 in the title. Thank you guys again from the both of us. Hands pressed together, smiling face with squinting eyes, red heart, 100-point symbol. Thank you. Next. Hello friends. I've been lurking for a while and oh boy, do I have some stories for you. Today I give you just a few stories of a wonderful EM. Sit back and enjoy. Cast me, take a wild guess EM. Sadly my terrible mother Ab, awesome brother Ad, arsehole stepdad AA, amazing aunt GP, grandpa GM, grandma. Here's the first story. So me and Ab were picked up by AD from school. I was 4ish and Ab was I believe 5, extremely late. School ended around 2:45. We got picked up around 4:30, and Ab was talking about how he got an A in science. His first A in fact. Yet for no reason, AD pulls the van over and smacks Ab in the head 3 times. When we get home, Ab has a visible bump on his head. EM does nothing. End story. The second story. So this was Ab's 6th birthday I believe, and he wanted to go to Comic-Con. Correct me for grammar. I'm into games, not conventions. So EM and ED take him. Now about 3 or so hours pass, and EM wants to go, but Ab was having the time of his life. What do? Let the kid have some fun on his lucky day? Nope, they beat the shit out of him. He comes home, covered in bruises. And this is where AA comes in. She heard what happened and went to EM and AD, and by went, I mean busting the door open, standing toe to toe with AD. AA is 5'2" and AD is 6'5" plus, and told EM that if anything happened to me or Ab, EM was gonna get her ass beat. To end this story on a happy note, me and Ab stayed with AA that night, I think. Third, yet last story, time for some goodies. When me and Ab were 5 and 6 respectively, this happened in the same year as story 1. EM installed some bootleg game on the family computer, which GM didn't approve of, due to computer viruses. So GM deletes the game, and EM goes ballistic. This grown woman starts throwing a temper fit, screaming, crying, the works. But it gets worse. She tells me and Ab that grandma doesn't love you, BS. We were with GM until she passed, and she loved us more than anything, and that we're going to a homeless shelter thankfully. GM called AA, and AA came. Let's just say that AA is lucky to not be in jail right now. At that moment, AA took me and Ab to her house, and we've been living there since. Forgot to add that she starved both grandparents and never showed up when they were leaving us. That fucked me up to the point of suicidal thoughts, because my grandparents were like angels and my mom just threw them out when they couldn't give her any more money. Hope I didn't mess anything up. This is my first post here. TL. Doctor, my mom got a bootleg game deleted. Aunt had to save us from that hellhole. Thank you. Next. This story is second hand from my friend and is kinda sketchy, but it's still a story. F equals my friend, K equals Karen, C equals child. So from what I remember it started in a park with C. Look at F's sketchbook. She was in her short emo / sassy / quirky phase, as she was drawing like scratch marks on a hand or something like that, and C asks what that is. F tells him and he runs off. Then K comes over and scolds F for drawing devil imagery. F then packs up her art stuff and leaves. That's just it, or at least all I remember. Thank you. Next. Text had been translated to adjacent word. An encounter from about a few years ago when I was young, not even a teenager, but I don't specifically remember how old. So, this story happens in the lobby of a hospital. I had some throat problems, not important, and had come to get that checked. I had come with my father, who has the title of an important foreign diplomat, and when we go into crowded places such as that hospital, we have a few guards with us. We had just finished and we were sitting in a corner, away from all public, waiting for the reception to clear up so he could pay the bills. A few minutes pass and he goes to pay. I'm all alone with no one and no guards around me, although they kept with the occasional glances to see if everything was okay. Along comes Karen and her hackspawn of 4 children. Not really the Karen by appearance, but boy did her personality speak for itself. I was playing a game on my phone, a helicopter game or something. Not important, and just minding my own business when one of the kids came over to me and looked at my phone. He just kept staring at the screen and eventually asked what I was playing. I replied with the name of the game. He then watched for a few minutes and the other children also came up, grouping around me. One of the guards took a glance and gestured if he should intervene, but I, not being that type, gestured him away. Now, all was good till one of the kids asked if he could play. I wasn't really comfortable, but I still let him play, and he ran off with it, the entirety of the hackspawn following. He went to his mother and I quickly got up and followed him. His mother looked like she didn't care about the fact her son randomly had a phone and just pretended to listen to his endless blabbing about how I gave him my phone, and when I asked for my phone back, she quickly turned to me and the conversation goes as follows. Cast, EM, entitled Mother, EK1, EK2, EK3, entitles Kids, G1, G2 Guards and E, Dad, me. I ask for my phone back, EM, sorry what? Me, Mom, can I have my phone back please? EM, what phone? Me, that one, points to it. EM, my son found that phone, it's his. Me, no mom, he took it from me. EM, no, he won't do that. Why would he want to steal from such a cheap slob anyway? I can't even think you have one. Oh my god, his phone. Me being a kid, I am speechless. EK1, who took the phone in the first place, came up with EK3, who was older than me. EK3 pushed me and told me to F off. I wasn't thinking to look around for the guards cause my brain at that time was a peanut. I slowly start sobbing and EK1 starts laughing as EK3 mocks my crying and calls me a baby and stuff, which came out harsh to me at the time. I'm so embarrassed saying this. It was at this time that my dad was done with the bills and came around the corner to where I was sitting, saw me crying a few feet ahead with some teenager mocking me. One of the guards quickly ran up and pushed EK3 aside. G1, get back, now. EK3 is taken aback, not expecting this to happen. EK3, what's your problem? EM, screams he pushed my son, he's trying to hurt us, help. The security officer, who had come up was in a suit, and you don't see that in my country often, so EM didn't think even the slightest bit that it was a security officer. At this point, my father had come up, and he's pretty angry tempered, but he kept his cool and shot some angry looks, with the officers left to speak with the woman. The officer who came to save me quickly took me aside. G2, are you okay? Did they hurt you? Me, he pushed me, points to EK3. G2, okay, I'll talk to him. At this point EK2 walks up to me. He has my phone in his hand and looks like the youngest. He hands me my phone and says sorry with a long face. I was taken to the car, and my father showed up some time later, who said he had gone to talk with the reception to complain about the family. It's a pretty dumb story, but I guess I need to post it somewhere. Thank you. Next. Summary is at the bottom. Edit. This story is to poke fun at something my family has experienced. Also, this is my mother's experience and I'm just writing about it. This is obviously written from my best ability to remember it, but damn. To those Reddit investigators that say this is experience is fabricated FO, because believe or not, people in America can be racist. Shocker. Just because you haven't experienced a racist encounter in your life or something doesn't mean that some else hasn't. You should feel privileged if you haven't experienced racism. Damn. Edit 2. The people who are leaving hate comments are all white, which is hilarious. Also, if one more white person calls me ugly, I'll fuck your dad and become your stepmom. Go back and praise your ultra lord daddy Trump. Also, you guys hate on my parents' age gap but don't seem to mind Melania and Donald Trump's age gap. Mouth. Also, at least my mother wouldn't steal another woman's speech and pass it off as her own. It feels as if you people love stealing people's work and passing it off on your own and denying and invalidating people of color's experiences with racism. But if you had the choice to switch your comfy life with a person of color, you and I both know you won't, but you don't want to have that conversation apparently. Also, thank you to my kind white peeps, you are appreciated. Please don't feel offended. Background. My parents are interracial couple. My father is an older gentleman, white, who ran a successful business, and my mother is a younger lady, Filipina, who had her own achievements in her rights. For background, we lived in a higher middle class neighborhood and my parents were the only interracial couple during that time and all of our neighbors were white. Anyways, for reference, we were well off but never bragged about anything, and now I'll get to the story. This story is told by Mom, who reminded me of what happened tonight. My twin and I were 6 during this time. People involved: EM, entitles Mom M, my mom D, my dad S, twin sister me, police officer. One day my mother went to pick up the mail and as usual she looked through all the mail to sort it out. My mom saw a letter that was sent anonymously and was kind of shocked because we've never received mail sent anonymously. So she opens the letter, insert shocked Pikachu face, and she's just so shocked. The letter: go back to the Philippines you bitch and take your goat husband and bratty children with you. You're just a prostitute and your husband is an old man. There was more to the letter, but since I was a kid my parents shut my sister and I out of the room so we could hear these nasty words. Well, it turns out they messed with the wrong woman. My mother took the letter to the police and they investigated our neighbors and looked for fingerprints. We lived in a court so we only had a few neighbors who we interacted with. After the investigation, some of our neighbors knocked on the door and told my mom a bunch kind words and that they would never send a letter like that to my mom. A couple days later, my mother finds out who sent the letter and why they did it. Unfortunately, it was our neighbors from across the court. The reason why Karen sent us this nasty letter was because my twin sister and I did not let their son, about 7, ride in our pink Barbie Cadillac for 2. She claimed that she was upset because my sister and I should have shared the car with her son. She went through all that work just for a plastic car. The irony is that she was a police officer and her kind husband who was apologetic to my mother was one too. It's unbelievable. Unfortunately, my mother forgave her and didn't press charges against her. If I was old enough to understand what happened, I would have pressed mom to press charges. Anyways, thanks for reading. A summary. Racist retired Karen who served as a police officer sent my family a racist letter all because my twin sister and I did not let her son drive in our pink Barbie car for 2 people. Bright side is we moved out of the neighborhood when I was in high school and it was the best thing we did. Also, this happened in Northern Cali during Obama's presidency, which was shocking that this happened to my parents because my parents assumed that America was taking steps to improve itself. Well, they were wrong, but I'm happy my dad never lived to see Trump because America a bigger shit show and racism is now casual. Sad pensive face. Thanks for reading. Please don't hate on me for mistakes. I wrote this on my iPhone at 1:27 AM. Smiling face with sunglasses. Smiling face with sunglasses. Thank you. Next. So I was playing Fortnite, LOL, with my friends and one of my friend's brothers, but then F1, friend 1, got a legendary pump shotgun. EK, entitled kid, who was F1's brother, wanted it. F1 refused. EK started crying and saying that he would tell their mom. Me and F2 tried persuading F1 not to give it, but he was gonna get a ban from gaming so he had to give it. TLDR, EK wants Fortnite gun, doesn't get it, cries and gets it.